If you have ever attended a job fair, you know they can sometimes be overwhelming, but there are things you can do to get the most out of that experience. Randy Wood from Goodwill Industries joining us with a few ideas. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a lot of job fairs around here, and we always try to publicize them here on Fox 8.
Yeah.
When you talk about making the most out of it, what do you mean?
Well, first off, the internet and technology has really changed how we learn of jobs, how we interact with companies initially. And one thing that hasn't changed is the job fair. And it's still an opportunity for you to get a face-to-face meeting with a business. And so it's important that you go in with a game plan, because guess what? You're not the only one standing in line. Your goal here is to make a good impression. So here are some tips. And we have I work with professionals, but I know your audience ranges from professional to hourly and everything in between. So this applies to everyone who's watching. Okay,
so you go to the job fair.
Yeah.
What do you need to keep in mind?
Well, first of all, you want to go ahead and get an idea of who is there first, so you have a sense of direction. You find the companies who are in attendance, you put a little check beside the ones that you feel like you would like to work for. How do you know that? Well, go to their website, see what positions they have available. Learn about the company, learn their culture, learn whatever you can, so that when you get face-to-face, you can't just sit there and go, well, I need a job and I'd like to work for your company.
You can talk about specific jobs, right?
You can, and an employer will be there. Now, granted, they don't like to have to stand all day and they get tired of that, but frankly, it's an opportunity for people, companies that is, to get a sense for the person's character, for their personality, because companies more and more today are more concerned with the culture fit than they necessarily are with the exact skills. So here's your chance with interpersonal communications. Again, 55% of that is body language and appearance, so make sure you're dressed appropriately, firm handshake, good eye contact, and be courteous. Can't tell you how many times people will crowd the person in front of them like this to kind of push to get to the employer. The employer's not blind, they see that.
They see that's going on.
Exactly, and if you behave that way in that setting, how are you going to behave with our team as one of our employees? So do your homework, that's important.
So that counts on any level, whatever type of job you're looking at.
Sure it does. And if you have a handful of companies or more you want to see, well, take a look at where they're located and go to the lines that are shorter first. Because again, shorter lines mean more face time.
Right.
And then be sure to double back. As the day wears on, the lines tend to go down. But also remember this, many companies bail. They bail in the last half hour. They're gone, and if you show up late, you may miss your chance.
If you interact with somebody there, when do you check back with them?
Well, that's a good question. Certainly you want to try to get an understanding of that when you talk to them. What's the next step? If you're a professional, ask to connect with them on LinkedIn and follow up. Look at it as a way to make that name and face kind of contact.
So when you get in touch, they're going to say, oh yeah, we met.
Exactly. If you're a salaried person, chances are they're not looking to fill openings for someone like you today. If you're at the hourly level, that's where more openings are, because companies promote and there's a lot of turnover at that level. But again, the bar is not that high. When you go in, dress, I can't stress that enough. I see flip-flops, I see ball caps. Leave that stuff at home. If you're there to make a good first impression, act like you want it and act like you mean it.
Okay, Randy, thanks very much. Great ideas as always, and again, helps you make the most out of that next job fair you attend. If you want to get in touch with Randy, you can always do that via phone. There's his number on the screen, 776-6829. Or if you want to email him, he's with Goodwill of Northwest North Carolina. You can email him at procenter@goodwillnwnc.org.